Hey folks, my name is Jan. I'm with the Fairy and Human Relations Congress, or the Gaian Congress as it's known online. And every third Saturday of the month, we have a workshop. And on November 15th, Michelle McKinney will be leading us in meeting your guardian tree spirit. So there's been a theme. This is really fascinating. There's been a theme that's been going through the workshops this year, and a lot of them have been, who are the different spirit helpers. When we walk a shamanic path or a fairy path or a witchery path or entheogenic path, you encounter. A lot of times you encounter ancestors, plants, underworld deities, Sasquatches, etc. How and a lot of times they're not covered in shamanic training. And how do we work with these beings? How do we get to know them? And you're going to be working with trees. And I was when we had decided to work with tree guardians, guardian tree spirits, I kept on thinking we've lost something here. We don't the trees get overlooked. um I was thinking about the trees from Lord of the Rings, the Ents. There are these powerful beings who are incredibly wise, who speak very slowly, and they can, when you mobilize them, they can like create a revolution, right? How do we work with trees? I think there are so many other, the power animals that grab our attention, but the trees are really important. So, Michelle, you're going to be leading us in meeting your guardian tree spirit. Why is this important, and what can we learn from the trees? I'm handing the microphone over to you.
I've got it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be presenting this. I love presenting with the Gaian and Fairy Congress. I just always love it. Um, so guardian tree spirits, we have angels, we've got power animals, which are guardian spirits. We can have guardian ancestors. We can also have guardian tree spirits. And so I discovered years ago when I kind of was working on developing a working with nature spirits workshop about trees, and we went around. I had everybody share a tree story that they had, and people had such deep experiences with trees. Like it might have been where they escaped their whole family if there were too many people or something like that, or everybody had like a story with a tree. And I found that fascinating. And I also got feedback like some of the students that I've taught actually have a stronger connection to their guardian tree spirit than they do their power animals, which surprised me a lot. But I think it's because like a lot of animals, exotic animals or extinct animals or other kinds of animals that people sometimes get as their power animals, we don't have a daily experience with it, but we have a daily experience with trees, and we don't even notice them. Like I think we take them for granted. Um, but I mean, you were mentioning a tree in your neighborhood that you always stop and say hi to and things like that. And a lot of people do. I had a student after he graduated the training that was in the medical profession, and when I asked him a couple years later, like, are you using any of this work in your practice or anything? He said, no, not really, but every day when I take my dog for a walk, I talk with the trees and they talk back to me. And it was kind of this really sweet sense of kinship, I think, that we have with them. We have a lot in common, and we have a very kind of interdependent existence with them. You know, they provide oxygen for us. We provide CO2 for them. That's what they breathe. You know, we're both freestanding organisms. They're the tallest on the planet. And so there's so much we have in common. And one of the things that I think is really important right now is really learning to ground. And I think a lot of people don't even really know what that means, even though we use that term a lot. A lot of people use that term a lot. And trees can really help us learn to ground. They can help us be in our physical body connected to the earth. And especially in these really hard times for everybody, for whatever reason, a lot of people are moving, things are changing in their lives. You know, people have had so much movement in their lives, not to mention what's going on in the world, that I think we can all either be reminded or learn how to work with trees to help us feel like we belong here, not feel so alone, and also learn what grounding means and how it can help us in our daily lives and how trees can help with that so much. Um, and I think also the thing that quality of trees that I really admire is they don't have to get in their car and go to the store for food. You know, they don't, they stand in one place their whole life, which can be, you know, a decade to thousands of years. And they get everything from where they are. And so I think there are ways that trees can really help us manifest as well. There's something because we go out into the world, which is kind of like a male thing, right? We go out into the world, we go after what we want, we develop, you know, we do the things. Trees draw everything to them. You know, they draw the birds that build the nests. They that eat the bugs that might be bugging the tree. You know, there's this whole microclimate, and then in the mycelium of the root system, they have their internet with the other trees, and some trees are like nursing trees, and some trees are solitary trees. There's all kinds of there's a kind of social aspect to them, I think, and so. I think there's a lot we have to learn from trees. And so I'm going to do a um, meditation, guided meditation, and meeting your guardian tree spirit and getting to know them, and then doing some work with grounding and possibly some work around how do we manifest, how can we work with trees to manifest what we want? And it's not the kind of manifestation like, you know, I want a red Corvette. It's more, um, how do I come home to myself? How do I feel like I belong and that my imperfections are actually perfect? You know, how do I commune with nature and feel a palpable connection with it? Because it's not out there. We're part of nature. So I think part of being with trees reminds us that we're uh, as much a part of nature as they are, and we have an interdependent relationship with them. They have a lot to teach us.
Michelle, I have never heard anybody talk about trees the way you do. That just sounds this is this is needed. I, you know, sometimes you feel like, oh, what you just said is needed right now. So folks, it's November 15th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Um, check out the links in the text for it's a $35 ticket, um, and registration links are there. Also links to Michelle's website, and I have to say Michelle does a wonderful 1 and 2 year shamanic teaching program, which is I did that one. She's a stellar teacher. Um, so I'm just very excited to have you back. with the Fairy Congress, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday.
I just love it. I love working with you and Lindsay and everybody in the Fairy Congress. I'm tickled pink to be doing
Yay!
this. So thank you for asking.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Hope to see you on Saturday.
See you Saturday.